Good evening to one and all present here. My name is Vani Mukundan, and I'm the Vice Chairperson of HConX Kaching, which is Sarla Anil Modi School of Economics, NMIMS Mumbai's Economics and Management Fest. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the webinar on Future of Blockchain and Cryptocurrency organized by Crypto University. A little background on Crypto University. Crypto University is a part of CryptoWire, which is a global application offering a full suite of real-time price and insights, news, knowledge, awareness, information, and a data platform for blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Crypto University encourages hands-on practice-oriented skills and knowledge so as to enhance the career opportunities for the aspiring professionals. Our first speaker, Mr. Ajoy Pathak, is a blockchain and cryptocurrency enthusiast, passionate educator, and trainer with over 20 years of experience. His domain expertise in financial products and services include commodity derivatives, futures, options, swaps and arbitrage, hedging, research and forecasting of prices based on fundamental and technical analysis. He is proficient in economics and its application in business models, business plans, and overall project viability analysis. Sir's expertise includes product development in financial services and centralized cryptocurrency exchange domains. He is an alumni of IIM Ahmedabad, where he specialized in the postgraduate program in food and agribusiness management. Joining him is Mr. Devesh Chawla, who's an advisor at Crypto University. Mr. Chawla is an ingenious strategist, a mentor, an investor, as well as a TEDx speaker. He is deeply committed to add value to the startup ecosystem and revolutionize the entrepreneurship picture in India. Chatur Ideas is his heartfelt and sincere effort to create a one-stop solution for startups and entrepreneurs, which he has successfully accomplished. He has worked with hundreds of startups, including Strike, Orbit, Max Market, and many more. He also runs entrepreneurship programs across colleges and startups, along with joint certification courses with IITB, Spinta Global Accelerator USA, and with his trainers present across the country. On behalf of the HConX Kaching team and NMIMS Mumbai, I would like to extend my heartfelt welcome to Ajoy sir and Devesh sir, and would like to thank them profusely for taking out their time to educate us all on such an informative and relevant subject. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vani. Thanks a lot. It's always a pleasure to come talk to the students, address them, and talk something which is very close to their hearts, their concern, and things like that. So today, with your permission, I'd like to share a presentation with you. Now, in this presentation, we are not going to talk about what blockchain is, what cryptocurrencies are. I believe many of you must already be knowing what these elements are. What we will be talking today basically is what is the need of kind of blockchain and cryptocurrencies in the future, and what it holds for the students. Like today, I mean, we make our career plans not because of what's going on, right? So what's going on could become irrelevant tomorrow, but we need to really gear up for where the demand would be in the coming 20 years or something like that, which is when we are going to spend most of our career. So that has to be like the most pertinent field and things like that. So we need to basically understand that what is the future of blockchain and cryptocurrencies in for a student in terms of his job scope and things like that, and how should one reskill or upskill themselves to address this need. Now, let's begin. Why blockchain? So this is not something which I am saying. I'll be borrowing what PwC in its October 2020 report about blockchain's $1 trillion opportunity talks about. But I'll share this with a caveat that it's an October 2020 report. Now, a lot of things have happened in the cryptocurrency and the blockchain space between that time and now. And so you can say, this entire field is like rapidly progressing and exponentially growing. NFTs has happened, and Metaverse has happened. These things are happening now as we talk. Web3 technologies are going to generate the next generation of multimillionaires. That's what we that's what we see. Business processes are getting redefined, new businesses are being built up, and things like this are happening. So that's a very interesting field which is coming up. And what I mean, despite all these things, just with the blockchain and the enterprise application, which were the available technologies at during that point of time, like say October 2020, PwC had estimated that the GDP across the globe is going to be increased by $1.76 trillion over the next decade by adopting blockchain technology alone. That's a huge term. That's a huge figure. That's a huge number. Now it says that by 2025 it will be mainstream, and that till that point of time it will be adding something around $400 billion, and from 2025 to the next 5 years till 2030, it's just going to go 4 times, about $1.76 trillion. So that itself is says like the huge kind of opportunity which is there. And today we see that it's not only uh, I mean, kind of expressing itself, but it's also adding wings by new products coming into the fold, like what NFT is. NFTs was a superb revolution, and there's a whole economy which can be designed around NFTs. So is metaverse. Like the COVID situation is like accelerating the metaverse kind of a thing, which is an immersive kind of environment for all the people to come into. And today it has got its application only in gaming areas, but it could very well be extended into, let's say, tourism, shopping, and other things. And a lot of metaverse projects are getting launched. One of the latest ones was that there's a bank in South Korea which gave a metaverse digital experience to a VR enabled customer, as if he's just moving inside a bank branch and interacting, and these transactions happening entirely digitally. So that kind of in the metaverse, people are getting married over metaverse nowadays. Okay, so those kind of platforms and offerings are also happening. So obviously the world is reshaping itself with all these new opportunities, new creations, and other things. And this is going to uh, change the mindset of all the CEOs of the company. And in October 2020, 61% of the CEOs had put digital transformation in the top 3 of their priorities. If they run this survey now, I can say that figure is going to be 100% already. So that's the kind of a thing that we are seeing. USA is going to add about $407 billion and 2.2 million jobs. This is how European job scope is going to pan out. And in India, you can see that India is going to add, although only merely about a $62 billion, but they're going to add about 3.2 million jobs. Now that's again, I mean, I think that's the base kind of a report which was created by PwC in October 2020. And trust me when I say that what I have seen about the capabilities of Indian technocrats all around the world, all this job creation, I think it's going to be 80% filled by the Indians only, which are going to be trained by us in our schools. And they're going to get employed in these areas. So, I mean, the technocrats of India are unbeatable. They're the best ones available. And that's what I think is going to happen in the blockchain and cryptocurrency area as well. Now, what's India doing? You must have followed the budget closely, where crypto transactions or crypto profits will now be taxed at 30%, which is a very encouraging development, which says that tacitly the government of India may be on the verge of accepting cryptocurrencies as a digital asset, which is just like any other assets like stocks and bonds, and let the Indians trade on it. But then, if you look at the NITI Aayog Blockchain India strategy recommendations to the government, you will find number 2 that they are recommending creation of a national infrastructure for deployment of blockchain solutions with inbuilt fabric, identity platform, and incentive platform. So the government itself is going to put most of its services and public processes on in blockchain, and kind of derive from the efficiency which blockchain provides. Now that's a very progressive kind of an thing, and a lot of work has already started. If you visit the Mighty website, I mean, you will find that uh, the infrastructure for a India chain, which is like the North Block, East Block, West Block, and South Block, those things are already in place. A lot of proof of concepts or POCs are happening with the government bodies and the academia, mostly specifying the efforts of a center of excellence being laid down by IIT Kanpur and some Jijamata Institute of Technology over here, and the MIT itself. A lot of, I mean, uh, efforts are being spent on bringing various of these, schemes that the government has, like the PDS scheme or the Manrega scheme, the landing solutions and other things, the BLRO, the land records and other things, all the transactions. All these things are going to come into the blockchain fold because, uh, truly speaking, if a regulator is using that kind of an ledger system, which is powered by blockchain, even they are going to reap huge benefits out of it. One example I can cite out here is the first truly blockchain public service country, which is Estonia. I think all of you should go to YouTube or any other channels for that matter, find out Estonia digital revolution and read their story, watch their story. And there's nothing which says that India can not also create a similar kind of an infrastructure out there. But if that is the goal of the government of India, or for that matter, it's good news for all of us, because then people skilled with this domain in blockchain and cryptocurrencies and cryptographic proof of transaction are going to be in demand, and that's what we should be gearing up for. The third recommendation is also something which is very important, in which the Niti Aayog is suggesting to promote India as a blockchain hub, as a research and development in blockchain, in addition to focus in skilling of workforce and students. Okay. And possible work areas could be like the procurement process of the government agencies or the PDS solutions and things like that. And we are also talking about RBI bringing a new CBDC or central bank digital currency. So the government is seriously looking at adopting blockchain and implementing a lot of its things. So basically, we are not talking only of the CEOs or the enterprises of going for the blockchain kind of an transformation, but also the government of India looking at, in the public sector, looking at engaging blockchain solutions for bettering their offerings. So there's a lot of jobs coming up, guys. So you should be gearing up. Now, the next question, which automatically comes like, what's the kind of jobs that we could find in this area, correct? So you can become a blockchain developer and blockchain architect, a blockchain administrator, blockchain project managers for people who are like learning the business management skills and other things. They can be value adding into blockchain project management, blockchain analyst, as in blockchain consultant. Uh, then people who are into the legal areas can go for blockchain legal consultant, because that is something which is like coming up and is a very highly sought after uh, uh, job at this point of time. Then there is blockchain UX designing, quality engineer, blockchain engineer. And if not any of these main stream kind of an thing, there's always going to be a great demand in blockchain content writing, social media marketing, blockchain community managers, trainers, and educators. Because once you learn about these things, it's only natural that you'd like more and more people to join, because this technology, this entire thing is such an inclusive technology, it's such an inclusive thing, that it just cannot make sense just by having yourself into the forte. and you obviously need to share your ideas, share your knowledge, and get as many people onboarded as much as possible. So that's the kind of job scope in blockchain now. Obviously, not everybody can become everything. So what we need to do is to basically try and understand which area appeals us more, and then probably uh, get some skills pertinent to that particular area. Now, if you're looking at development or a network administrator or any other kind of a thing, you need to have some blockchain tech, some coding languages, some blockchain development tools, some DevOps tools, some cloud creation skills, and some other skill sets which could be very pertinent to the business area applications or for the security part of it and things like that, which could be on fintech technologies, cryptography, information science, open source programming, and things like that. So these are some of the skills which you may have to upskill yourself with to address the needs of the particular role that you choose to, that you choose to get yourself into in the entire job spectrum of the blockchain projects which is coming up. Great. So how do you go about that? Uh, we have tried to give you kind of an easy pathway about 1, 2, 3, 4, like what you can do. First thing that you should try and understand is to have some basic knowledge about what blocks and what are chains, how trust is built into the system, how the cryptographic proof of transaction replaces uh, the intermediation that we have in our system at this point of time in the form of trusted third parties maintaining ledgers for us, while what decentralized ledger technology basically does is that it removes the middleman from in between, lowering the cost of transaction and things like that, thereby roping in a huge amount of efficiency into the whole thing. Then obviously the question comes, because we have been habituated to this kind of a trusted central third party kind of in dealing till this point of time. The obvious questions which are like the doubtful questions, like how does that actually work? How can I trust it? And why can't it be cheated? What are the mechanisms which are supporting it and things like that? So you need to have all these questions out of your deck very early on by understanding the core fundamentals in the basic knowledge kind of thing. Now, once you have a good understanding of that, then you start moving into the functioning of it, like how does the technology works, how does the accounting thing work. So basically, there's a fintech thing, there is a technology part of it, and there is an accounting or account processing or transaction processing part of it. So you have to understand both these processes with its components very, very well. Now, some of these processes, these are also socio-technical process like any other web 4 industry 4.0 technology, which is basically what they are saying is that it's not only technology, but it is also the society, the participation, which is driving the technology. It is part and parcel of the entire thing. So over here, you'll have to understand how society, social adoption comes into play. If more and more people adopt certain thing, it becomes valuable, because then it becomes, I mean, the kind of in thing, and that's how to proliferate this socially and things like that. So this functioning is also very important, because any project which is like which has got an adoption will have much better results than projects which do not have that kind of an adoption. So these functioning and stuff, they have to be understood. The processes have to be understood very clearly. So once you have a very solid base, then you can go into the application cases, see the other side of the window a little bit, saying that, okay, how blockchain can be used to achieve business goals, or into different teams, different departments, into different industries. You can pick up any industry, like say, for example, the iron and steel industry, study its entire thing. You see with what are the processes involved, what are the information flow transactions which are involved, and how can these be, I mean, what is the time taken for each of the processes to happen, and how can efficiencies, operational efficiency be brought into by automating the processes using smart contracts, or by creating a transparency into the entire system by putting them onto blockchain ledger or things like that. So these will be very interesting exercises to do. Some of the hackathons and other things at this point of time do exactly that. They give you case studies. They give you like, these are the business cases. Now, how do you bring efficiency into the system, and what is the percentage of efficiency with your intervention of your blockchain knowledge that you can achieve there. So these application cases must also be, done to make it much more pertinent, because our industry now needs things which are not only new ideas but also old ideas being disrupted or being put into the new blockchain fold. So these are some of the things that you can do. Now, once you're comfortable with this, learn some of the languages which are like bare minimum Java, HTML kind of a thing. Then you can become a blockchain expert by acquiring uh, application knowledge in advanced mode. Let's say by this point of time, you should be very much clear to yourself that you want to develop solutions on Cardano platform. So you need to learn Haskell or how Cardano works, or you want to be an interoperability expert kind of a thing. So you must need to understand the Polkadot and Cosmos, which are interoperability platforms, or you need to have like the trade finance thing, which you can choose any of the smart contract platforms like Ethereum, Cardano, Tron, and things like that. So depending upon, by this point of time, you'll have a fair idea like how you are going to shape your career up, in which area, which field. Then you can start choosing, okay, then let me take a deep dive into this, let me learn more of this, and let me, I mean, this is where the recent trend is going up. So I anticipated demand for workers, for skilled people in this area. So let me learn this so that I have a better prospect of job or any other thing. Okay. Uh, then if you're looking into the enterprise thing, and this is one big area which is coming up to be, is like transforming the old businesses into the new business, for which you need to understand the process re-engineering in and thing. So basically some amount of process re-engineering with blockchain in the fold of business is going to be an extremely important thing to learn. Then basically, then you go ahead, do some internship, hands-on experience with some of the existing projects or new projects which are being launched and things like that. Getting your hands dirty, I mean, that's the best way to learn. Basically, you just don't become a great football player by learning how to, I mean, run on the field, or how to kick a shot, how to curve the ball. Like you don't become a great football player unless and until you get down onto the field and start kicking the ball here and there for a few times. So the internships or the hands-on experience are the things which are going to, perfect the professional out of you. Then you can go ahead, take specialized programs. By this point of time, I believe you should already be into the job, and you have a much better understanding of the ecosystem, how it is shaping up. You will have the networks which will be providing you with the feedback that these are the areas which are coming up, these are the areas which needs to be learned, which needs to be deployed, and things like that. You might also be looking forward to innovate a few things, and take the whole industry forward, and things like that. So this is kind of an what's the kind of roadmap that you could be following. And CryptoWire, along with Crypto University and Crypto TV, are trying to provide you that kind of an help. CryptoWire, that's Crypto TV. Crypto TV gives you a very engaging infotainment kind of an updates on what's happening in the crypto world. So you can get various things like interview, education, latest things like what is an NFT, what are different coins, and so on and so forth. It gives you interviews. Uh, I can see it also has an humor kind of a thing, so I'll have to check that out as well. What I suggest is that you can check all these things out by just downloading the CryptoWire app, go to the Crypto TV section and checking them out. And while you are there, you can also check out Crypto University, which is basically the serious part of it, not so much of an infotainment, but more of an understanding, learning, and things like that. We have courses from many global universities, some of the very best of courses, let's say, some of the course like MIT Open Courseware for blockchain by Gary Gensler. So you can just click on that and it will open up as a OTT season kind of an thing. So you can keep on watching it like you watch Game of Thrones or things like that. So that's very convenient way of, starting off, easy way of starting off. And that's what we are trying to do, is to take you through the easy part at this point of time, ease you into the blockchain and crypto understanding. And as and when you want to intensify, we will come up with better solutions depending upon how your needs are and things like that. Now, I believe some of you must also be having your crypto wallets and making money and prudently spending them in acquiring crypto knowledge, more and more crypto and blockchain knowledge to further your careers ahead, and not really spending it on fun things like we used to do during our times. Uh, if you are into that fold, then basically CryptoWire is one section in the app that you could be visiting more, because all the, a lot of information about the markets is available there, wherein uh, you can use this information to make more money with investments or trading in cryptocurrencies. There is the CryptoWire has come up with some arbitrage watch between exchanges for the same spot thing. So it's a very good way to, kind of use the market uh, imbalances to make some smart money for yourself. So this is in small what CryptoWire, Crypto TV, Crypto University could do. I hope that this was a bit informative to you about how you can participate into this environment. I hope this excites you, this makes you curious, this makes you go to the application, download it, look into it. Uh, you should have a lot of questions following this. Uh, Please, we are here to help you through all those questions. So get in touch with us, and we'd like to welcome you to the chain. So thank you very much. So that's what we have for today. And let's hear from Devesh, because Devesh is also has a lot of interesting ideas to share with you. Devesh, over to you, buddy.
Thanks, Ajoy. Good evening, everyone. So I'm sure it was an insightful session from Ajoy, uh, and all of you guys would have learned a lot. In fact, just to extrapolate or carry on from where Ajoy spoke about career opportunities, I feel there is plenty opportunities today in building your career in blockchain and cryptocurrency. In fact, if we move some years back, there have been so many businesses which weren't there at that point of time. And if you see, the best of the best paying careers today are in the businesses which have come in the last 10 years. Likewise, if you see, for example, a digital wallet like a Paytm. So in the year 2010, uh, I'm sure very few people would have heard of Paytm or would have heard of digitally transacting money. But today is the norm. Everyone, in fact, uses either a Paytm or a Google Pay or a Phone Pay or any other wallet for their transactions. Now, what has happened? Why things have changed suddenly? Because that's what happens, right? With technology, with evolution, change is the only constant. And that's what has been happening. Today, one cannot think without using a digital wallet. There was a time when people used to see a Paytm being used at a pan wala or a naril pani wala, and were like, wow, how things have changed. And today it's just a normal thing. Today, right from your auto wala to your pan wala to your milkman to anyone walking on the street would have a digital wallet. So things have moved so fast, and one knows what's the kind of growth these digital wallets have seen, the way they have turned into unicorns. All of that shows how fast technology grows and how things move. Likewise, I feel blockchain and cryptocurrency is moving that direction. Few years ago, people were thinking it's crazy to invest into a Bitcoin, it's crazy to invest into an Ethereum, it's crazy to invest into a Ripple. But today, people are seeing the kind of money people are seeing. In fact, something like Metaverse, if people talked about it 15 years ago, people were like, are you crazy? Can something like this exist? But today we see how Metaverse is transforming things. There are marriages happening at Metaverse, right? There are concerts happening at Metaverse. Things have changed significantly. There are NFTs being sold at $1 million. You know, if somebody would see a normal painting. So I remember there was a huge viral thing that was going in 2014-15, where there was a painting at Kala Ghoda Art Festival, which was just golden in color. That was nothing but just golden color. And they were selling for 50,000 rupees. And people were like, have you gone crazy? How can just golden color on a canvas be sold for 50,000 rupees? And today, when people are selling NFTs at millions of dollars, now people think it's normal. You know, people want to enter the bandwagon and, you know, make capitalize on that. So having said that, I feel that today technology is easily available to each and every one of us. Let's make the best use of it. I'm not sure if this is the bull run of cryptocurrencies, if this is the next big thing, or what is Metaverse. But I know one thing, this is something that all of us can capitalize upon. And students here, all of you guys have access to all of this. So there is no parity, there is no disparity in information. Everyone has the same access to the information. Why not capitalize on that? So I feel a lot of job opportunities, a lot of career opportunities here. But having said that, since I've worked with startups, worked with say around close to 1,100 startups, have a network of more than 1,500 investors nationally and internationally, I feel I see things from a angle of being job creators than being job seekers. So can we do something here where we can create a career out of it by creating ventures and not only just picking up jobs? I feel yes. Just to take a few examples, mark sheets, as simple as mark sheets. So today, I'm not sure if you guys know or don't know this, but mark sheets can be forged, right? So I've seen multiple cases where people, when they apply for jobs, they forge their mark sheets and they apply and they get through, because there's no way to check if your mark sheet is a relevant one or no. But if you put all of this on a blockchain, there is authenticity attached to it. Likewise, people on LinkedIn have put multiple things about their education, about their previous jobs, etc. Are they authentic? Yes, there are ways to check. You can do a background check and hire an agency, but that is time consuming and expensive affair. But if you put all of that onto blockchain, life becomes simpler. And I'm sure the guys who are attending the session today can think of such ideas and can capitalize on that. Let me talk to you of such a simple thing, what people have done and have made money. So there is this guy called Samuel Fried. He passed out of MIT in the US. And when he passed out, he just Googled to see on the net what kind of money people are making. And he was amazed to see that, people are just making millions and millions of rupees or dollars. He's like, why can't I do something like this? He spent some time on Google and he saw that, crypto is the new big thing. He said, can I do something there? So he just went on to the US exchange and saw the price of the Bitcoin. It was quoting close to $10,000. He then went to Japan's exchange and saw the value of the Bitcoin. It was $11,000. He saw, why can't I create an arbitrage here? I buy in the US, I sell in Japan. Can I do this? And if I multiply this amount by $1 million, can I make $1 million a day? He talked to himself and he thought maybe he can do that. In fact, he did that. And in 4 years, Now his age is 29. In the last 4 years, he has created an exchange in the US of cryptocurrency, and his net worth is close to $18 billion. So, sometimes the most simple things make money for you. You buy cheap, you sell high. As simple as that. At that point of time, Bitcoin had arbitrage. Today, the arbitrage may not be as large as he saw, but still there could be arbitrages at different exchanges or in different currencies. One can make use of it. So what I'm trying to say here is there are simple little things in life that can actually make money. Why not walk that path? In fact, there was a company that I had invested 4-5 years ago, and that company was into cloud servers. Now that guy was doing well, hence I invested, and along with me a few others. After 2 years, he changed his business into something else. And the last thing that he did was, which was in the year 2020, was moved into cryptocurrency. And that point of time, I, along with the other guys, were like, you know what, we have to take an exit from your business because it's changing a lot of businesses. Just because cryptocurrency is the flavor of the month, you just want to do that. We don't want to stay with you. So he said, fair enough, I'll give your money back at principal. Not going to give you all a handsome return on this, but I'll give back the money on principal. So I think most of the guys just took an exit and left it. It's been 1.5 years. And I just came to know this 2 weeks back, his valuation has become 10 times. So in a span of 1.5 years, the principal that we had invested, of course, 4 years ago, has become 10 times. But for us, from the time we exited till now, it is 10 times, right? So sometimes things are moving really fast and one needs to just capitalize on them. So one should not miss the bus before it's too late. So that is my 2 cents that, capitalize on this, maybe build ventures, become job creators, or pick up a career where you can do that. In fact, the much of the knowledge that you can do is by downloading the app CryptoWire. If you see the kind of information it has, I have personally gone through multiple crypto apps and I've not seen something as informative as this. This is an unbiased platform which gives you so much of information, along with getting courses with the best of the best universities across the globe. So I feel, think about something, don't miss this bus, do something different, either be a job creator or a job seeker, but I think capitalize on this industry and make something big out of it. So that's my 2 cents. Before I wind off and take questions from you, Ajoy, and I can answer questions, I thought, let me again share a small little thing with you guys. How can one actually, by looking at the charts of any crypto chart, by simple little basic technical analysis can make money. In fact, if one has to get into detailed discussion of technical analysis, it might take close to 5 to 6 hours, but we don't have that. Let me take 5 minutes and show you that, how small little things can make money. Do you guys want to get into that, or that will get too technical for you all?
Sir, of course, I would be happy to if you can take 10 minutes.
Yeah, so as you said, it takes an hour otherwise, and it's pretty intimidating as a topic. So if you could simplify it for us, that would be great.
Okay, so let me take you through that. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So let me share my screen and show a chart, and we'll take it from there. Do you guys want to pick up any currency of your choice, or should I just pick up Bitcoin?
Sure, sir. I think you can take Bitcoin as an example.
Okay, fine. Okay, let me just move back in time so that we just pick up something really random, and then we can go in current and see what happens. So let me take this point of the chart. So these are called candlesticks. These are called Japanese candlesticks. This is a 1-day time frame. So you can see it's 1 day. Let me just pick up this candle where my cursor is on this one. So there are 4 things written here, if you can see on the top over here. Okay. So it says the open of the candle is 10,321, the high is 10,482, the low is 10,116, and the close is at 10,235. So basically there's an open of the candle, a close, a high, and a low. Now there is a basic funda in technical analysis, which I'm trying to simplify in the next 5 minutes. It's called resistance and support. And how, by just identifying a resistance and support, one can make money in cryptocurrencies. So let us assume if the market is moving up and it takes a U-turn. So from any point, it takes a U-turn, and the U-turn is more than 10 to 15%, we take that as a resistance. So over here, is the U-turn more than 10% over here? Not really. It's a U-turn here more than 10%? No, not really. Is the U-turn here more than 10%? Yes, it is. So this is a resistance. So let me mark a resistance for you all over here. To take a support, it's likewise, it has to take a U-turn from the bottom with a 10% move on the upside. So if we see over here, we take a U-turn here, it's more than 10%? Not really. Let's see here. It's a U-turn. No, it's not a U-turn, it's a flat thing. We move down, we see a U-turn, it is more than 10% here, right? More than 10 to 15%. So we take a support over here. So I'll repeat myself. When the market's moving up and it stops and starts falling down, it takes a U-turn. And if it's more than 10 to 15%, it's a resistance there. Likewise, when the market is falling down and it starts moving up, from the point it moves up and the moving up is more than 10 to 15%, you can take that as a support. So we mark a resistance, we mark a support. Now, how do we initiate a trade to see that do we make money or no? It's simple. If the candle breaks the resistance, you buy. If the candle breaks the support, you sell. What's your stop loss? What's your target? So your target is the difference between the resistance and the support is your target. Your stop loss is the low of the candle that breaks the resistance or the support. Now, having said all of this, I have to make a disclaimer. After listening to what I'm going to tell you all today, you guys will not start trading. This is just for educational purpose. So just for your learning purposes, okay? So let's see what happens here. So we are standing here. Let's see, we start moving ahead. Where is the market moving? So it's flat, it's moved up. Now, this is the candle that has moved the resistance. What's the low of this candle? The candle that broke this one, it's 9894, right? So our breakout point is 10,450. Our stop loss is 9,890, which is hardly say around 600 points. And our target is 10,400 minus 3,800, which is close to 6,000. So our target is 16,000. So if we lose 600. If we make 6,000. So the risk to reward ratio is 1:10. What one may also do is if you hit the stop loss, that is you exit, but if again it breaks it, you can at least take attempt of 3 stop losses, but anything beyond that, you should not trade. Still, if you take 3 stop losses, you still have a hit ratio of 1:3. But currently, if you go success in the first attempt, it is a 1:10. So let's see what happens. So this has broken the resistance. What happens over here? Let's see. It's moving up as of now. It came down, but has it broken 9894? Not yet. So it's moved up. It has not broken. It's not hit your stop loss yet. Okay, it's moving up, 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 up. And here it's crossed 16,000, right? So your target is achieved. Now, that's how you decide your resistance and your support. Now it's kept on moving up. So that's a different thing. This you can do even in the current markets and you can see where it is. So if you really see here, this is your resistance because from here you've seen a 10% plus movement down. And this is your support. So in fact, it has to cross this swing, which is the resistance here. If it crosses this, then we can take this line as support is 33,000 and 68,000. So if the market moves above 70,000 or 68,000, your target is going to be 1 lakh plus on the Bitcoin. But if it starts falling below 33,000, you might see a steep fall coming in. So what happens? We don't know. Time will tell us, but that's how you trade. I've just taken a recent example so that, I'm sure you guys are tracking the Bitcoin, hence you should know. I took a previous example. It's just because we just randomly pick up any resistance and support and show you that it works in every market. Are you clear on this? Do you all want another example, any other cryptocurrency of your choice, or do we move to Q&A?
Sir, I think we can move on to questions.
We can move on to questions. Perfect.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, hello. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for the session. It was really informative. My question will be with regards to something that Ajoy sir said. He said that the government acknowledging cryptocurrencies and blockchains in the budget is a good thing. But seeing that they've taxed profits at 30%, which in comparison to any other markets, for example, the stock market, net profit is taxed, but in crypto, only profits are taxed, that too at 30%, which most people may argue is excessive. So is that incentive or more of like disincentive for people to invest into cryptocurrencies?
So it's a very interesting question. So the way I see it, I'll be very succinct over here. I mean, I'm not trying to vet what the government has said. They have their own thought process and things like that. But as an buyer into cryptocurrencies, how I look at it is that if I need to buy cryptocurrencies, my entry barrier is what my on-ramp costs today and some transaction fees, right? And my exit barrier is 30%. So probably it's incentivizing people to hold more and more cryptocurrencies and convert less back into the fiat currency. So you have to understand one thing. The entire thing in 2008, it started as an system which is alternative to the existing system. In the current system, what is happening is that there is a third party which is being used as a source of trust. In the cryptocurrency system, it is a cryptographic proof of transaction which helps to provide or do the job necessarily which the trusted third party is doing. So basically, the idea is disintermediation, lowering the costs and things like that. So, well, I mean, policies are still the domain of the lawmakers. They can put it at 15%, 30%, 20%. I really don't mind. I mean, once I have this kind of a viewpoint that it is something which is a much more efficient technology, much more efficient solution, much more efficient process, and the whole world will be gravitated towards it. Uh, till that point of time, I mean, all these small role plays with 30%, 15%, 20%, that's not of a big of an incentive or disincentive for me. So I'm like trying to look at the bigger picture out here rather than, the small picture. I mean, does that answer your question, Zoeb?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. That answered my question. If I could, can I ask one more question?
Yeah,
Would that
please
be
go
okay?
ahead.
So, speaking about creation of job opportunities in crypto and blockchain, what do you think about cryptocurrency mining? Do you think that is going to be a thing of the past soon, or is it something worth
No,
getting into?
no, see, cryptocurrency mining is a process of including the social, uh, including the society into the cryptocurrency fold. So basically, you need those validators and verifiers. So mining is very much going to stay, and it's going to be more and more important as more and more blockchains come into play and blockchain proliferates. So mining is going to stay there, and it's going to get better and better. If you're planning
Got
to
it.
put up a mining thing, so please do it now.
The thing with mining is that it's a little capital intensive, right? It requires a higher capital to get into it. And seeing that we're just students and we don't have that kind of capital, and asking our parents, they are a bit more skeptical about it. So I was just wondering if it's something worth persuading people for.
Devesh, I think you should take this question up. He's the source of fund, Zoeb.
So in fact, yesterday somebody was telling me that uh, his son told him that, Dad, I think today cryptocurrency is the big in thing. I want to start continuing investing into cryptocurrency. Why are you running your business? So his dad had actually allotted 5 acres of land in his name. He took it back and moved it into his name again back. so
Wow.
so it's very difficult to convince parents to, give you the money to get into this. So currently it's like, you have to figure out a more innovative way to get things done. So for instance, when you're hungry, what do you do? So let's say one thing. Your parents have asked you to be in a room. I know this does not happen nowadays, but they have locked you in a room. Let's assume a very hypothetical situation. They have locked you in a room and they are saying that, I'm not going to serve you food, and they lock you for 2 hours. What's going to be reaction after 2 hours?
You're going to ask them for food.
You're going to ask them for food, okay? They said, no, we are not going to give you food. And 3 hours pass. What do you do then?
Try and make some food.
How will you make? They have locked you inside.
We try to negotiate a deal or
Try to negotiate a deal. Okay. They don't budge. They are very strict parents. They say, no, I'm not going to listen to you. 4 hours pass and they don't give you food. What do you do now?
I think I would pretend like I've passed out.
And then what happens after that?
Then hopefully if my parents love me, they'll give me food.
Perfect, great. So you figured out a way, right? You figured out an innovative way to get food to yourself, right? Now,
Correct.
likewise, if your parents won't agree, so say I don't have a solution to how to convince parents for cryptocurrency because I'm not sure if that's the right thing. But you will figure out an innovative way. So if you can figure out an innovative way, I got to stretch this for another 5 minutes, but we don't have time. But your innovative way was to show that we have passed out and they have come to help you out, right? Likewise, you have to think of something really out of the box that you can get your money and do mining. As simple as that. Find somebody who has enough money, who can buy your dream, and you tell that person, boss, this is what I'm going to do. We are going to mine. We're going to become rich. I need money from you. If we go down the drain, at least we've tried something. So, this is just a small spiel that I'm giving you, but it has to be something really different that you have to. So figure out an innovative way to get money. If parents are not giving you, figure out somebody else who can do it for you, as long as you feel this is the right thing for you.
Correct. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
So we'll move on to the next question. I've asked Ayush to unmute.
So I actually had two questions again. First was again regarding to the taxation policy. Now, given that cryptocurrency is a very anonymous activity and I could just transact with anyone on a blockchain and no one would actually know except the wallet ID I've transacted with, is it really possible to remove tax evasion or avoid tax evasion given the nature of anonymity?
Okay, I'll take that question, Devesh, if you may. Cryptocurrency transactions are not anonymous, Ayush. They are pseudonymous. So basically, they do not let you use your own name or something for that matter. On the contrary, you just use a pseudonym or a public address. Okay. So keeping that in mind, today almost 34% of the cryptocurrency transactions or the people who are into cryptocurrency have been mandatorily asked to do their KYC and things like that. Okay, so that's already happening. That's already progressing to an extent. Yes, I mean, the governments can pull the plug. They can do a lot of things with, KYCs and other things. They have to figure a technological way out of this. So does that answer your question, Ayush?
Yes, sir. That answers my question. Thank you so much. And my second question was, do you think the craze regarding NFTs, the kind of activities happening in the NFT space, do you think that they are here to stay, or is it just a overhyped mania that might just pass by?
I'm a bit skeptical about the way the NFT adoption is happening. Particularly when I hear, reports that, remember the Metaverse thing with the Beeple NFT, $69 million. Recent reports suggest that Metaverse was a part of Beeple. So I'm a bit skeptical about this area, if this is going to really translate the way it should and things like that. So I'll keep my fingers crossed. I'll go by the Gartner's curve of technology adoption, in which the initial part of the technology, it promises to do it. People speculate to do a lot more than what the technology can actually do. And then it has an overvaluation. It creates a bubble. Then the bubble bursts at a certain point of time. It suffers a crash. And then the period of enlightenment comes in. That happened with internet in 1999. That happened with Bitcoin and blockchain in 2013-14 area. The ICO bubble burst, and perhaps that's happening with DeFi at this point of time. And obviously that will happen with NFTs at certain point of. So any new technology when it comes, it creates a hype around it, and people start thinking it to be the next magic wand and things like that. Really, do not really understanding the limitations of the technology's applicability and things like that. Now, NFT is a brilliant technology. It could be applied on real estates. It could be applied on, basically things which could be made unique, non-fungible kind of a thing, art and whatnot. We have seen a lot of, non-fungible things in this world as an investment tool. It could be extended to all those things. But then again, $1 million property on a gaming platform, virtual real estate, I think these are a bit, overstretched kind of and things. It requires some, at the end of the day, the economic sense should prevail in any of the things. Now, the value which is being delivered should equate to the costs which are being extracted. Somewhere that fundamental thing is unbeatable. So economics still remains over there. It's only the technology which betters the economics and not really distorts the economics, which is going to stay. And the distorting economics is going to, kind of get wasted at certain point of time. So that's about technology and economics.
Very good answer to my question. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
I think we'll move on to Josh now. I'll ask him to unmute.
Hello, hi, sir. I have a
Hi,
question.
Yash.
So, I've been noticing how in the United States currently, like there have been these celebrities who shill cryptocurrencies and scam a lot of people. And I know it's kind of unrelated because as somebody who is kind of aware to not really trust celebrities or influencers as such, but if I had to invest in, let's say, a new and up and coming cryptocurrency, like what are the pointers or research or like measures I should take to like make sure that this isn't a scam I'm investing in, or it could be an actual prospect for the whole cryptocurrency as a whole?
So two things that you need to do in this area is basically you need to download the white paper, read about it. If you can understand the technology, fantastic. Otherwise, get somebody to explain to you the technology behind it. See how good the technology is in the decentralized scheme of things, because a lot of things can come under the garb of decentralization, but have kind of pseudo centralized kind of a thing in which rug pulls and other things become much more easier. So you understand the economics behind it, which is called the tokenomics. You understand the technology behind it. You understand about the project. And then you take a look at the team which is delivering the project, and you figure out from their profiles whether that team has got some prior experience in delivering similar kind of projects or not. Because in a lot of things which I'm seeing nowadays is like the project reports and other things are brilliant, but then the project owners or the developers, they do not have the kind of maturity, the business maturity, which even a marketplace requires. So what is happening is that, contracts are being thrown away to dustbins. It's leaving a bad taste in the mouth of the investors. Young guys with brilliant ideas, good capabilities to do the project and things like that, getting emotional, walking out of the projects and putting the entire project at risk. So as an investor, I feel that these two things are very important. Number one, you should invest into a project upon its merit, uh, its proposal, its technology, its tokenomics, its economic impact on the society, its possible adoption and things like that, and also the team which is bringing it onto the fore. So these are the two things which are of paramount importance for one to check before putting their money into it. Uh, I have about new projects. I have one simple rule which I have found out to be working fantastic, which is what is once you are convinced about a project, put only a very small amount of money and observe that project for about 3 to 6 months period. Now, 3 to 6 months period is a good project development roadmap kind of a thing, which the projects are promising. So, and you understand the behavior of the people who are involved into the project for these 6 months. If they have got the business maturity to drive a project, see, it could be a technologically brilliant idea, but The project owner should also have the maturity to drive it into the business area, and that's also something, a skill which is needed to make an project good for an investor and things like that. So these are certain things that you should be looking at while you're investing into a new project.
Thank you, sir, so much. That's really
No
insightful.
problem.
I'll look into it. Thank you.
So do we have time for one more question? Zohaib has another question.
Sure, no problem.
Oh, yes, sir. One of my questions was, how do we trust investing in a market that is so volatile? For example, I think a few months ago, it sort of ties in with the question Josh asked. A few tweets can direct the direction of a certain coin and how high it goes. So, first of all, I would like to know a stance on Bitcoin and altcoins. So, do you invest in altcoins at all? And
yeah.
secondly, when there are bandwagons like this, so is it better to just stay away, or should we try and ride the bandwagon? For example, like I said before, the tweets can completely change the direction, which led to a lot of people losing money.
Correct. How long the tweets work in the market, Zoeb?
So I couldn't catch your question. Can you please repeat?
How
Sorry.
long the tweet influence works in the market? Is it long lasting, or it is like very short kind of a phenomena?
Relatively short, but yeah,
See,
fair.
the thing is, what we are trying to say over here is that blockchain and cryptocurrencies is a very wide area. The volatility that you see at this point of time is only natural for a very new asset class. Okay. Now look at this. The cryptocurrencies are barely $2.5 trillion markets at this point of time, correct? The stock markets globally, on the other hand, is like $170 trillion, where the bond markets are about $200 trillion markets. Their real estates are even larger, and we can't even have a value estimate over here because they're like deep rooted into the legacy systems where we have lost the valuations of so many real estate projects and things like that. We only know of the ones which are now nearby. Now, putting all these things together, even if a small portion of the stock or bonds money or the real estate money flows into the crypto field, just imagine the kind of entropy that it could be creating. And that's what is happening from, let's say, August 2020 kind of a thing, when MicroStrategy uh, started moving into Bitcoins. Till from that point of time, you just see how the Bitcoin prices have moved. That's the source of volatility, new money from the stocks and the bonds flowing into the cryptos. And that's what's kind of coming in. Volatility is not that bad, Soeb. I mean, people talk about volatility. I mean, RBI talks about volatility as if volatility is very bad. Okay. Now they are somebody who need to keep the value of the currency stable, comfortable for the consumers and things like that. But I believe for market participants looking out to take risk and reap the rewards out of the risk that they are taking, volatility is an amazing thing. I mean, perhaps the only things which are not volatile are dead things. You know? I mean, a tree which is dead doesn't move and things like that. So volatility, excitement, those are the signs of life. And cryptocurrency and this space is all about new energy, new life, and new thoughts and new innovations coming in, flooding the marketplace. So I welcome the volatility and I love it. But then uh, being an investor into the volatile times, when I was answering Josh, I told you that if you have a longer term perspective, then go do a deep dive, digging deeper into the project fundamentals, looking at the project technicals, the tokenomics and things like that, and then get invested and stay invested for a significant period of time. Now, that's what is going to make you money. Now, if you can become Elon Musk, become Elon Musk. First, become an influencer, buy into a coin, make some tweets, make it happen, and then dump it on the top and come out. But if you're not an influencer, do not buy any influencers in, because they always make money for the influencer and never for the people who get influenced. Please try to understand this. This is one of the biggest caveats. And if you are dug in for the long term, these short term movements is just going to level itself away, and the economic sense is going to prevail when the dust settles. So look at those times when there is no dust around, I mean, people are not really crazy and things like that. In India, a lot of crazy things happen. A few years back, there was like salt which was selling at 200 rupees a kilo in Meerut. Somebody purchased salt because the rumor which went around is that salt is off the rack. It's at short supply and things like that. Look, dude, that's 1,780 kilometers of coastal area that we have. India can never run out of salt. It'll just go to the sea, manufacture some salt and have it. 200 rupees a kilo. Are you crazy? But still people are buying it. People do crazy things, Zohaib. Only thing is that you can stop yourself from doing crazy things like that. So just get your heads into the gear and act well. That's it.
So
Okay?
essentially, it's more or less like stocks. If you want to be in
Yeah,
long term, look at the
absolutely.
fundamentals.
Human psychology always remains human psychology. You have a mob thing going on, you have your individual thing going on. Whether you trust the mob more than you trust your conviction is something which shows how good a character you are in this capital markets. Simple as that. Read the book called A Psychology of Technical Analysis by uh, Tony Plummer. Okay, you can Google it. Tony B. Plummer, Psychology of Technical Analysis. Read the first bit of it. The second bit of it is what Devesh teaches. I really love the first bit of it. It tells me why technical analysis works in this market. Because people like to follow the crowd. It is the mob psychology which supersedes the individual psychology. Now, if you understand, if you just need to understand this and then preempt it, stay ahead of the crowd. I like to reach my office at 7 o'clock in the morning and leave at 7 o'clock because that's when the roads are really empty. The traffic has not come in. What's the point in starting when everybody's on the roads and then getting stuck and delayed? Beat the crowd, be ahead of it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Really
No
was.
problem.
So I think since we've run out of time, I think we can conclude the session.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, everyone who have attended today's session.
we would really like
fantastic
to
time interacting with all of you. The questions that you have are quite normal, brilliant. It shows that you guys are involved, and we would like to get you more and more involved into these things because your energy is something which we also need, along with experience, education, skills, energy. Welcome on board. Welcome to the chain. Devesh, you want to add something?
So I would like to thank everyone. It was an awesome audience. So it's more fun to talk when the audience is interactive, when they have relevant questions, when they are enjoying it equally. So thanks NMIMS Mumbai. Thanks the entire team. Special thanks to Vani and Chirag for doing a great job and pulling this off together. Such a beautiful set of people, so much of interest on this topic. So thanks everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of the entire HCon X-Catching team, I think I would really like to thank you, considering that our topic for this year was freedom. And I think freedom comes with, for our conclave this year, and freedom comes with knowledge, and the knowledge that you imparted and the simple examples that you took, like we could, like comparing Crypto Wire to being a game of Crypto TV to being a Game of Thrones show, or Devesh sir's example on you being locked in a room and not being given food, to getting money from your parents to invest or getting permissions. I think it was truly insightful, and we sure that everyone would look forward to engaging more with Crypto.io, with Crypto TV, and yeah, definitely the future of blockchain looks bright. So thank you so much. And for all the attendees, thank you so much for attending. There is a feedback form in the chat box. Kindly fill it, and so that the team of Crypto University could directly send you the participation certificates. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.